Hey, what is up, everybody? Ross Cessna from Spiritual Phoenix Studios, bringing you a daily tarot reading. First off, we are going to take a deep breath, though. So breathe in with me through your nose. Hold it. Breathe out. And I'm sure you feel a little bit better right now. So it is November 18th. We are actually going to do a rejection spread. Here's a couple fun little facts. R.H. Macy has had seven failed businesses before Macy's took off. Oprah was fired from a television reporting job and called unfit for TV. And Elvis Presley was fired by a Grand Ole Opry manager and told he ought to go back to driving a truck. So failure is a big part of people's process more than anything. And here's some more information on the rejection spread. On this day, Steamboat Willie, the first animated film with sound, opened to rave reviews. It was only the beginning for Walt Disney, who had been fired by a newspaper editor who claimed Disney lacked imagination and had no good ideas. Here's the summation of the spread, and then we'll actually get into the reading. Sorry for all the pomp, but hey, that's the way we roll, right? Have you felt the daggers of rejection? Walt Disney didn't let this rejection stop him, and neither should you. No matter whether it's romantic, professional, or any other setback, this spread takes a look at rejection and shows how it helps you bounce back bigger and better than ever. And the very first card is, why did this happen? Or the very first question is, why did this happen? And we have the Emperor card in reverse. This is about passivity and overthrow. And the way that translates into like a real answer is, you likely failed because you weren't maintaining the stability that you needed in order to achieve what you were trying to achieve. Additionally, it would be because there was a lack of action being taken to achieve the results that you had wanted. Sometimes you have to dig deep and do a little bit more than you want to actually get the results. Don't sell yourself short, right? The next one, why is it good that this had happened? Knight of Stones comes up. This is Knight of Pentacles in traditional tarot. This is about inertia and timidity, right? Inertia is the sense of laziness pulling you back, and it's like this negative momentum is the best way to think of it. Negative momentum. And then timidity is like not speaking your piece, right? Not living your truth. And why is that good that those things happen? Because it draws awareness to them and lets you know that you have to maintain vigilance and continue to push on, and also to have courage to face some of the things that you don't. Because if you don't have that ability to face some of your fears, or at least walk with them and walk through them, you're really limiting your potential to achieve what you want in life. So take those extra actions, whether it be a romance or whether it be a job, no matter what it is, show up. Okay. So the next one is, what will grow as a result? And you have Five of Swords in reverse. Fives are generally about adversity. Swords are about the mind. In reverse, though, this card is largely about like restoring a perception and a little bit of humility, I guess is the way to put into it. Because a lot of times big failures come from maybe lack of humility or lack of understanding how challenging some of the process might be. And then also overstating where we might be at with things and understanding that there's more work to do. So this is what will grow as a result, your respect for the process and how you move forward. And that's actually a good thing, right? Always be wary of the people who don't get the lumps necessarily, because the lumps and the challenges are what make you grow and expand. And the more of those that you get, the better off you're going to be to weather storms, right? Why is this a blessing in disguise? Nine of Swords. This is interesting because, again, this is a really challenging card typically. In this deck, it has a little bit of a different energy. We'll look at the traditional tarot, and then we'll look at this deck. Traditionally, this is about desperation, anxiety, and despair. And on that piece, I'm going to talk about something Denzel Washington talked about. And he talked about the gift of long suffering. I think that there's a gift of despair too, right? And that makes you maybe want to dig deeper, try harder, because the stakes are so high. But in this deck in particular, this is represented as dedication. And the blessing in disguise of about having all these challenging situations and staying committed to something that you're passionate about, despite the rejection, is that dedication builds tenacity, and that dedication helps sharpen will. Will is this force that we can exert, spiritual force that we can exert, that helps us accomplish things that would otherwise be impossible, if not next to impossible. So it allows us to begin to defy reality as we see it. That dedication is really important to sharpening your ability. How can you let the pain go? Four of Pentacles comes up. Fours are about stability. Pentacles are about the material world. And this card literally is like doubling down on stability. And it's about security too, right? How can you let the pain go? Understand that you're safe and you're secure now. And the things that have happened have already happened. Let them go. Understand that it's not a reflection of you necessarily. It's a level of either the awareness of where you're at or potentially even the other people involved. Don't take failure personally, because it's a part of everybody's process. The people that are able to overcome it are actually the ones that accept that and gracefully navigate it, and understand that you're in a safe space to grow and mature and develop. And if you're not, take actions to achieve that, right? And that's how you let the pain go. Where should you focus your sights? The Emperor's card comes up in reverse, and generally the Emperor's card in reverse isn't necessarily good, but in this context it might be, right? It's about barrenness or omission or kind of openness, like lack of fertility. And there's a couple ways that we could take this. Where should you focus your sights? Where there's no growth, where there's stagnation. But the other thing could be in creating space and letting go of things that no longer are helpful, right? Sometimes our lives become so cluttered with things that we don't want, or that we just feel dedicated or committed to, that actually don't serve a purpose, that no longer reward us how they used to, and we feel obligated to stay like committed to them. Sometimes clearing those things off and clearing our schedule can open us up to new energy and new avenues of potential things in our life that can have a lot of rewards and that can lead to the opportunities that we haven't been able to get before. So next one, what helps you regroup? Seven of Swords comes up. There's a lot of swords here, and this is interesting because Seven of Swords is generally about betrayal and deception. And in this deck in particular, it's represented as insecurities, which I think is generally a lot better understanding of the card, because if swords are about the mind and sevens are about faith, this is like your mind, having more faith in your mind than the outside world, right? Thinking that you're always having a clear perception. What helps you regroup is the understanding that you're not always seeing things clearly, and that you're probably looking at things from a limited perspective, and that pulling back will give you a better vantage point to help you accurately assess your situation. And when you begin to do that, you're in a real position of power when you can become observer, because that's how you learn to navigate the ship of your life way better. And then lastly, why should you never give up? It is Nine of Pentacles in reverse. Nines are about fruition. Pentacles are about the material world. And the reverse aspect of this is dissatisfaction or depression. Basically, if you give up with what you've been trying for, if you give up now, you're going to feel like shit. Like, that's the easiest way to put it. There's no point in stopping when you put forth all of this effort to achieve where you're at now. You're in it to win it, so it's time to either go all in, everything on the table, like pedal to the metal, or it's time to just say fuck it and walk away. But I definitely think it's time to go all in, because you're not going to be happy if you don't try. It's better to completely lose trying than to tuck your tail in between your legs. And I'm going to close with this, and this is a story that Jim Carrey mentioned about his dad, right? Jim Carrey's dad wanted to be a famous comedian, but he didn't want to take the risk or the jump to do so because he was afraid of not having the money to support his family. But what ended up happening is he took the safe route, right? And even with that safe route, he ended up getting fired, and that was why Jim Carrey was homeless at points in his teenage life. And the lesson that Jim Carrey learned is you're way better off failing at something that you want to do in life than failing at something that you don't want, and like, don't sell yourself short. And with that being said, thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Like this video, drop a comment, and if you're not following me already, follow me. Peace.